What's going on, YouTube? I'm back. I know it's been a minute since I did my last video. Um, First, let me just say that I hope everybody is doing well, staying safe during these troubled times. Please know that as history has shown, humanity has always prevailed. And this is something that we will get through. We just have to take it one day at a time. We have to continue to listen to our health officials, uh, even though we had some people that are in a position where they're playing the blame game or not holding themselves accountable. We This is something that we can definitely get through. So remember the social distancing, washing of the hands, just other stuff. Just try to incorporate those in your everyday lives. And I do believe when this is all said and done, we will be able to hug, shake hands. I know it's going to be a little tough getting back to our regular scheduled program. But again, we should take it one day at a time. And let's get into the topic. So, Rex Ryan, I wanted to do a kind of a response to him because Rex Ryan, a few days ago, was on a TV show on ESPN called Get Up. And I'll be honest, I don't watch that show. I kind of feel like since Cold Pizza. If a lot of people don't know what Cold Pizza is, Cold Pizza was actually a show that was started by Skip Bayless. And then it turned into First Take with Skip and Stephen A. And I feel like ESPN ever since then has really tried to mimic the show. I think that there's way too many people giving their opinions on the same subject that I've already heard on the previous broadcast, on the previous show. And I think ESPN to me is just running out of ideas. And I'm noticing that there are a lot of former athletes, whether they're football players, basketball players, baseball players, come on shows like that and give their opinion. And Rex Ryan has been on this show, quite frankly. And to be quite honest, some of the things that he has said, I can agree with. I think sometimes when he analyzes certain topics, like for example, I feel like he definitely was a little too harsh on Baker Mayfield, just like others are. I definitely believe that. And I think that what he said recently, I believe, in my opinion, I think crossed the line. And I think that this is something that is a prime example of being too comfortable, too much power, and not enough self-control. Rex Ryan had made a comment towards Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Amari Cooper, virtually calling him a turd. Also stating in his point of why he felt like Amari Cooper should not have gotten a 5-year extension worth $100 million. Quote, I just wrote a couple quotes here. He doesn't love football. Disappearing act. Those are just a couple things that I took from his statement. And this is, to me, that's an example of, I think, a guy who is just too comfortable on camera. And I feel like that needs to be addressed. Especially when you make a statement like that. When you say turd, it's almost kind of, you can almost add a racial component to that. And I think that he could have used a better choice of words, a better word to use than that. Um, but for those who don't know who Rex Ryan is, let me give you some numbers. I did my research on Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, since 1999, he started with the Baltimore Ravens. He started as a defensive line coach. Then he was promoted to defensive coordinator. Then also, too, while having the role of a defensive coordinator, he was also promoted to being assistant head coach. Then in 2009, he parted ways with the Ravens and became the head coach for the those New York Jets. Yes, for 5 years. Excuse me. Um, Rex Ryan made the playoffs, I believe, his first and second year as head coach, and lost in the AFC Championship to both the Colts and the Steelers. In that time as a head coach with the Jets, Rex Ryan created a lot of headlines and did not back them up. Mind you, he was in a division that's arguably one-sided, mediocre, terrible, and I just felt like he just created unnecessary headlines that he just couldn't back up in New York. And I think after 5 years, I just think he just couldn't. He just lost control. He had no control of the locker room, and I just think that he just got in the way of the team trying to make necessary moves to go forward. So the Buffalo Bills offer him a head coaching role. He's only there for one season, and they don't make the playoffs, and he's fired. In the regular season, Rex Ryan is 61 and 66. That's a 48 1%. In the postseason, he's 4-2, the 66%. Overall, he's 65 and 68. That's a 49%. Actually, I was all about creating headlines and can't back up what he says. I just don't understand where a person like that or a guy like that can make statements like that. And here you are doing that as a head coach. And you have shown why you are not going to get a head coaching job. Now, if as a defensive coordinator, that might be a little different because let's be minded. He's a defensive minded coordinator, coach. And I just believe that this was just an example of somebody that I think was too comfortable in front of a camera and just felt like, well, I'm just going to say this and no one's going to say anything. And I'm very disappointed that there really hasn't been that much backlash. And I'm not saying that he needs to be fired, but it'd be really appreciative if he goes in front of a camera and says, okay, you know what? I should not have said the word turd. I think he's a great, person. I think he's a great wide receiver. And, he could have explained why he meant that. But in today's society, 2020, and it's hard to do that. And I'll tell you why it's hard to do that. Because once something's put on social media, you can erase it. Once people see it and once it spreads like it's like seed. It's like a seed. When you plant it, it grows in multiple directions. And this is something that I just don't think Rex Ryan expected to happen. I think he knew what he was saying. And I just don't think that he was going to expect the backlash. And I think that again, if you're ESPN, I think you kind of pull him in the office and say, okay, I don't think you really should have said that. Now since this has occurred, I do not watch this show Get Up. Again, that's just me. But I wanted to also get into why I think the Cowboys extending Amari Cooper makes sense for the Cowboys. First and foremost, I think Amari Cooper is a talented wide receiver, very sensational. I do believe the struggles in Oakland, I think but every young player goes through the growing pains, maturity, and all that stuff. I really, in my personal opinion, I think John Gruden. I couldn't even think of his names. I apologize. John Gruden. I think gave up on him. I think they really could have worked out him and Derek Carr. I also think that's why I believe Derek Carr, in my personal opinion, why I think you're kind of seeing his game diminish and why I think the Raiders went and signed Marcus Mariota. But that's a whole other video for another day. Um, I think for going forward, this signing for the Cowboys makes sense. This season alone, I just pulled up his numbers, but this season alone, Amari Cooper started all 16 games. Okay. He led, he had the highest receiving yards for him personally, 1,189 yards. He had the third highest catches. His highest catches was 83 back in 2016 with the Raiders. He had eight touchdowns. And I think that if you're Dallas, you invest in that. You know, when you see the one thing that's so great about sports, and the one thing that's so great about when you analyze talent, you're looking to invest into the future. Amari Cooper's young, okay, just like Ezekiel Elliott, just like Dak Prescott, who, in my opinion, I can see again going back to Rex Ryan, I can see why he's a little upset because the Cowboys, and I think everybody can come into an agreement. Dak Prescott, in my opinion, yes, should have been paid and should be paid. I just don't think he's going to get paid right now. I believe he will be paid next season. So I don't know why, but we all know Jerry Jones. We know Jerry Jones takes care of his people differently, and I believe Dak Prescott will be in a Dallas Cowboys uniform next season, and I think he'll be a Cowboy for life. Now, that's totally up to Dak, and that's whatever. Right now, for some reason, the Cowboys and Dak Prescott right now can't come to an agreement. Um, Now, that doesn't reverse if you looked at, for example, the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry. You question why he got franchise tagged and why Ryan Tannehill got an extension. But that's another video for another day. Um, I think the Cowboys, again, as I stated, I think this is a good investment long term. And I think also, too, this gives Amari Cooper stability. I mean, let's be honest. The man went through two head coaches before he got to Dallas and Oakland. He had Jack Del Rio as his head coach, and he had John Gruden. And even though he had Jerry Jones, that's not Jerry Jones, Jason Garrett, who should have been fired, Amari Cooper did a pretty good damn job. Now, that's not to say how it's going to look next season. I do believe he can definitely build on something like this. But again, Amari Cooper does have his moments. There were a couple games this season where he did look a little off. There was a couple drop. He just, it happens. It's all part of growing. It's all part of maturing with the game. Everybody can't be a Tom Brady. Everybody can't be a Michael Jordan. Everybody can't be a Peyton Manning. And I think that's what Rex Ryan and guys like him don't understand. I understand that you hold an expectation and you expect these guys to come out and just be elite. But it doesn't work like that. Everybody grows and learns, and their games mature differently. And I think Rex Ryan is just seeing this completely blind. And Rex Ryan, to me, has shown, and what he's going to continue to show, why he should not be a head coach, because he creates headlines and he can't back them up. Plain and simple. And I don't care if you bring up the fact that he got to the AFC Championship game twice. That's great. What did he do after those 2 seasons? He did nothing. He did nothing. And he couldn't even build off those 2 seasons. That's a fact. Even when he got to Buffalo, his starting quarterback was Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, who I like. No beef against him, but Tyrod Taylor is a journeyman. So I just think that, again, Rex Ryan was completely out of bounds. I'm disappointed that there's not at least a response. I know there has been different people on Twitter and other media platforms that have made article responses, but I'm talking about on TV, on First Take. I don't think, I could be wrong. I haven't watched First Take in the past few days since this has come out. Y'all let me know if I did miss something with that, but I just think that this has been it's completely out of bounds, and I think that he needs to own up to his mistake and say, okay, you know what, I should not have said that. The power of words when you're critiquing somebody or something, that means a lot, and I think to use the word turd again, you can almost add a racial component to that, but it shows to me that as a head coach, as a former head coach, why you don't belong, why you don't even deserve to have another head coaching job. That's a bridge that has been completely burned. Um, Now, as a coordinator, that's different. But, excuse me, I just think that Rex Ryan was out of bounds for making that statement. And I think he just needs to give Amari Cooper his props. Um, but also, too, like I said, this is a guy that's just been too comfortable in front of the camera and believes that he's untouchable. And I think that he's trying to prove, and I think he's also too just trying to make himself look good for an NFL team to give him a call, give him a head coaching job. Sorry, your coaching style and the way and what you've shown in the 7 years that you've been a head coach, no. If I was a GM and I saw and your name and another head coach's name, I would have thrown your name in the trash. That's just me. I'm sorry, but y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Am I wrong to feel that way about Rex Ryan? What do you guys think? What could have been said differently? What do you think? What is your take? Your outtake from this? Does Amari Cooper use this as motivation? And does this come back to bite Rex Ryan? Who knows? But I will try to make more videos. I'm trying to come up with more ideas. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think I should do? Like a Q&A or more videos like this. But again, I hope everyone stays safe. Thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.